Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deanna Made. On this week's episode, we get to meet Van Fitch, a skilled forward for the Jenks Lady Trojan soccer team. She's headed to the University of Arkansas next year. But right now, let's check in with our guy from Bixby, Braylon Presley, who's recently announced his commitment to Oklahoma State. Braylon Presley is here to share his recent news, and he comes in with the shirt. And me being being an alum, I'm pretty happy about the news. So you recently announced that you're going to be going to Oklahoma State University. My man, had to come down to that decision.
It was just a lot of just thinking and just talking to my family about it. And once I knew I was ready to commit, which is pretty early for some people, but I mean, when you know the time is right, you know the time is right. So I mean, I knew the time was right after talking to my family, talking to Coach Dunn and the staff at OSU. So I mean, I just kind of made that move.
That's one of the questions that I was going to ask for you. I mean, let's be honest, with you being in the situation that you are, being, 4-star, 5-star recruit, schools coming out of the woodworks, all season long, offering you and making sure that they know that they're very interested in. For you to announce that you're going to, make your decision this early was a surprise to a lot of people, especially in the state of Oklahoma. So why announce so early?
Well, I mean, as I said before, I just kind of thought about it, and I called Coach Dunn probably a month before I even committed. I talked to my mom and my dad, and just for me right now, even further down the road, I just think it's the best school for me, academically and athletically, and I love the staff. I've been around OSU since I was could barely walk, so I mean, I talked to Coach Dunn, and after that talk, I mean, it just kind of persuaded me to just go ahead and commit instead of, waiting for other schools to come. If you're confident and you don't have any doubt that, even if other schools come after you, you're still going to go to that school. You might as well just go ahead and commit, not waste anyone's time or not waste your time.
Speaking of other schools committing, I mean, you made the mention that you're 100% with the Cowboys, but since the news has come into the mainstream, has there still been other schools in contact with you or reaching out saying that any type of thing to kind of persuade you to rethink your decision?
Yes, sir. I've as soon as I committed, I've heard from different schools from across the country, not really trying to persuade me, but just saying that they'll be in contact and they still love me as a player, and that if there's any doubt in my commitment to the Cowboys, that there's always a home for me there. But I mean, I listen respectfully, like anybody should, but I mean, I just want to instill in everybody that, I'm 100% a Cowboy. I don't think, I know I'm not going to decommit at any point to go to any other school. I think this is a school for me and it's the right decision.
I mean, you mentioned earlier that you had a lot of conversation with your family and some friends. Was there any family member in particular that was persuading you to go to the orange and black?
No, I don't think, I know there wasn't any family member in particular, it was just, I really didn't even talk to my siblings about it that much. I did, but they all left it up to me. They said it was a decision based upon my future. So, they can give their opinion and input as much as they want, but at the end of the day, it's I have to go with my gut and my mind, and make the decision that's best for me. And that's really what I did.
All right. So for people that do not know, Brennan Presley, your older brother, does already play for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and we both got an opportunity to see him in the spring game. Seems like he's a big time part of that offense as this the upcoming season. So did that persuade you in any way? Was that something that an advantage for the Cowboys and their coaching staff to have your brother already in place in the system for you to like want to go ahead and join him once again and play alongside him?
A lot of people have actually asked me this question, but I'm just telling you the same thing. Brennan really didn't have any pull or any particular input on me choosing Oklahoma State. I mean, it's amazing and it's great to get to play with him again. Don't get me wrong, but even when I talked to Brendan about this months ago, probably in January, just asking him, because he's been through it, so I just kind of getting some input. What should I do, or just stuff about recruiting, and he told me wherever he goes, I have his full support. So I mean, he didn't tell me, "Oh, you should come here. Like it's a great school." Like, I mean, yeah, he's gonna say it, but I already know that. So, I mean, with Brennan being there and being such a big part of the program, it really didn't even. I didn't even put that into consideration when I chose OSU. But I did talk to Brennan just about the recruiting in general, and he told me that it's a fun process, but I can have my own opinions. Where if you could come here, it's a great school, but at the end of the day, it's a decision you have to make, and he left it up to me, and I just kind of took my time with it. But I mean, I knew that. I wanted to commit, and I wanted to commit now just to, I'm a Cowboy. I love the school, I love the program, I love what they have to offer, and I think they can get me to the next level.
So just a quick question before we move on to other stuff. With your future being with the Cowboys and everything, you mentioned that you're a running back and a wide receiver, and you also return kicks and punts and stuff like that. What do you see for your future in at the next level? I mean, are you positive that you're really you want to stay in that running back position, or are you kind of willing to do or move to any other positions? What would you like to do at the next level?
I mean, I've had this talk with Coach Dunn and Coach Gundy, and what they kind of told me was that the hybrid position, so kind of like how I am at Bixby, how I play a little running back, and receiver, but it just be probably a little more receiver, just with my stature and size, which I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm okay with. I mean, I understand, you have um, you can do pretty much anything with the size you have and the heart. But I mean, even for me, I think for college and even the NFL, I just think that I kind of agree with them, um, that playing a lot more slot, but also being able to do running back a lot more. I just think that I can do it all. So I mean, I've definitely thought about the position change and everything, and I think it'll be the same. I'll just play probably a little more slot than I do running back, and still returning kicks and everything.
Before he heads to Stillwater, Braylon Presley wants to get another gold ball with the Bixby Spartans. Find out more about that when Ford High School Weekly continues after this.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with my man, Braylon Presley. Braylon, now that you made your decision, you got all that out of the way, everybody knows where you're going. Now you can focus primarily on your season, your track season and your senior season coming up here in the fall. So what's that been like as far as getting that, chip off your shoulder and making that decision?
It's actually been a huge chip off my shoulder. I mean, once I announced my commitment last week. I've had people telling me congratulations. I've had coaches, some coaches still hit me up, if anything changes. But I mean, just to get that off my shoulders, where I don't have to, really worry about, where I'm gonna go or what school I want to choose. I mean, it's great because I can focus on the main narrative, which is, going to state and track and hopefully doing well on that, and also, getting ready for spring ball and winning another championship with Bixby.
Speaking of, I was going to ask you, how's the off season been? I mean, I know you've been in the weight room, and you've already mentioned that track's underway. I mean, how have both of those things been going for you and your school?
They've been going really good, actually. We've had a lot of success in the weight room and on the track. But the off season, I think this year is probably one of the best that I've been a part of. Just have a lot of dudes, a lot of guys in the weight room really attacking. PR every week actually, and track's going really well. I mean, the off season itself has been going good. I think we're all just ready and pretty eager to get back on the field.
Talking about the track side of things, what events do you run primarily, and how is the team looking so far this year?
So I do the 1, the 2, the 4x1, and the 4x2. And over the relays, I mean, we've had some injuries where we've had some people out for a couple of weeks and whatnot, including myself. I've been out for probably about 3 weeks with a hamstring injury, but we're all getting healthy. We're healthy, so we have a track meet this week, and I think we can actually do really good at this one, and then the next one, which is regionals, which I think we can go out and run really well and actually qualify for state for. So, I mean, hopefully we as a team get to experience that.
So as far as, making the decision, track, is there anything else that we need to know about here at Ford High School Weekly that you got on your plate right now?
Not really. I mean, I'm happy, that I did it. I'm happy it's over. But, I mean, once track is over, I'm ready to get rock and roll with football again.
So as far as that goes, I mean, Bixby has had a lot of success in the past, but you guys got a lot of big shoes and roles to fill with a lot of team members graduating and going off to do bigger and better things. What do you think about the team's chances are this year?
We've had a lot of significant roles graduate this past year and just heading to college, and I think we can have a lot of great players step up and actually be a big contribution to the team, from the quarterbacks to we've had some significant pieces on the O-line leave, but we have a lot of guys that have been working really hard in the off season, in the weight room and even on the field, just getting stronger, faster, just to fill those spots. So, I mean, as far as filling the spots and the gaps, that doesn't really worry me, because I know that Coach Montgomery, Coach Schneider, and the rest of the coaching staff, even the strength program, they're going to get those guys right, and they're going to get them ready to play.
Well, Braylon, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and good luck with everything you got going on, track, football upcoming season, and being a future Cowboy. We appreciate you joining us here at Ford High School Weekly, and we'll be catching up with you here really soon.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up next, Van Fitch has been committed to the University of Arkansas since the 9th grade. Find out how that happened here on Ford High School Weekly, coming up next.
Turner lobs it ahead to Fitch, settles it. One-on-one with the keeper, shot to goal. Vanessa Fitch, first goal of the night.
Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deanna Mate. Today, we have a special guest for you guys, my friend Van Fitch from the Jenks soccer program. Van, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of people might not know this, but I was doing some research on my own, and the stat goes, I mean, women's soccer is one of the most physical games by none. I mean, like, literally, y'all have the highest concussion rates out there. So talk about the physicality of the sport and what people don't understand about that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty physical. It just sometimes it depends on who you're playing, but overall, I think it's a pretty physical game. So you got to hold your own and give it back, I guess.
For those who don't watch a lot of soccer, what are the physical parts? Like, how does that even come about? Because they think you guys are just running, chasing after a ball, but it seems like there's a lot of headers and players get intertwined. What are the physical parts in your aspect of it?
It gets pretty physical, like if you're going up for a header, because multiple people want the header, obviously, or just like going into 50-50s and challenges. You just have to be stronger than your opponent.
A game of brute strength, huh?
Yes.
So take us back to the beginning there. So how did soccer come about for you in your earlier years? I mean, how did it all start? When did you first start playing, and what teams did you play for?
I started playing when I was 4 because my older brother played, so I wanted to be like him. And I played rec at MTSC, and my team was called the Stars. It was just like little 3v3, I think, or maybe 4v4 on a really little field.
How did you grow to love the game?
Honestly, I think I just want to be better than my brother, so I just kept playing to be better than him.
What's your brother's name? Might as well give him a shout out, since he pretty much, indoctrinated you into this soccer career.
His name is Chad.
What's been the best part about playing soccer for Jenks High School?
I think high school soccer can be more fun than club soccer. So I think I've really enjoyed playing like fun soccer, and it's not always so serious like club. So you can kind of come here and you're just like having a good time, and you get to be with people that you go to school with, and it's like there's more rivalries for high school soccer. So that part's fun too.
Nice. So who is the club team that you play for?
I play for TSC, the ECNL team.
How has that been thus far?
It's been good. I do enjoy club as well, but high school is just more fun.
Yeah, we can see that. You guys seem to look like you're having a lot of fun out there. So I was told that you are committed to the University of Arkansas.
Yes.
So how did that come about? How's the recruiting process been for you?
It started pretty early. I was in 8th grade. The rules were different then, so they could talk to you earlier than they can now. But we'd just go on my ECNL team. We would go to national events and things, so there'd be tons of coaches watching you there. And you can send like clips to people so that you can just get some exposure. I committed my freshman year, so it's been it was just pretty quick, happened pretty fast.
What was the reason for that? Why your freshman year? Why Arkansas? What made you want to commit that early, and why to that university?
Honestly, I wasn't really looking at Arkansas in the beginning, but I went to visit their campus just to like keep my options open. And it was really easy to like picture myself there. And I kind of knew like once I saw the campus and like they showed me around and everything that like that's where I wanted to go.
So talk me through this a little bit. I'm not familiar with the whole recruiting aspect of women's soccer. Is it common for players to commit that early into their freshman year, or is it something that was kind of out of the norm and you just decided to, be an outlier?
Back then, it was pretty common. Like a bunch of my ECNL teammates were already committed whenever I did. But now the rules changed, so you can't talk to anyone until your junior year. So nobody's really committed that early anymore.
So wait, so the rules have changed like recently?
Yeah, I think like in the last year they changed.
So do those commitments still hold up if you guys can't technically talk to them?
Yeah, we were grandfathered in, so we're good.
Man, gotta love those grandfather rules. So if as far as soccer and Arkansas and things going in that aspect, was there any other schools that were, calling for your talents and trying to get you to kind of, take another look especially with the new rules come into play?
There were a few. TU here in town, because they can just come to a lot of games because we're always here. And then Michigan, I never went to their campus though. And then I went and looked out east at like Rutgers and Penn State, but it's just a little too far, I think.
Yeah. So is that another thing about Arkansas that was appealing, just being close to home?
Yeah, it was close, but it wasn't too close.
Hey, trust me, as a kid who grew up in Dallas and came to play at Oklahoma State, I know exactly what you mean by that.
Van worked hard to maintain her skills during the pandemic with some of her home workouts. Find out more about that when Ford High School Weekly continues after this.
This is a mismatch on the far side.
Left side tapped out. Fitch there for the rebound. Scores again. Right place at the right time for Vanessa Fitch.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with my friend Van Fitch from the Jenks soccer program. Van, again, thank you so much for joining us. As far as the pandemic and having a situation where you're playing through a very unusual situation, how has it been for you guys over there at Jenks? I mean, I know the season got canceled last year, and then you still playing club soccer. Like, how has all of that been, and what's been the differences in that aspect?
It was pretty disappointing last year whenever our season got canceled. I think we only played 3 games, so it was upsetting, but then we come back in the fall and we have another off season. So it's like 2 back-to-back off seasons pretty much. So I think we're just really ready to finally play. So we started out strong and we're still going. We're just excited to be able to play again.
When you guys were able to play, was there some rust involved, or did everybody come back and look like they had been touching the soccer ball and playing kind of quite frequently?
There was absolutely some rust. It's kind of hard to train by yourself for that long. And some of us have siblings we can use, but not everybody. So it took some getting used to playing with people again, but we're getting the hang of it.
What kind of rust was involved with you, or were you able to use your sibling, Chad, to help you out quite a bit?
There was some rust for sure. I got to use my little brothers some. They would play goalie. They weren't very good, but it was better than nothing. And then I would run with them sometimes too to keep our fitness up.
And all that from home by yourself, just you guys.
Yeah, we have a church next door who has a big field, so we would use that too, but just us.
As far as, the season when you guys got back, to playing, especially this season, what are some of the differences because of the pandemic that you guys have faced?
For a while, we had to we couldn't practice as a team. And then also obviously we wear masks in the weight room or on the sideline. So there's just been little adjustments, but once you get out on the field, it's pretty normal. Speaking
of your team, is there any teammates that you're really close with that you want to shout out right now? Since you're on TV and everything, I might as well give you the opportunity.
I'll give a shout out to Quinn Turner. We play club together and we play high school together, and we've been on the same team for quite some time. So I'll give it to her.
I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and we appreciate you and everybody over there at the Jenks soccer program. So thank you, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
2 seconds at the buzzer on the way, and it's good.
Be sure to go to YurView.com/OK for highlights and replays of the Ford Game of the Week. And check out our podcast and past episodes at YurView.com/OK. Hey guys, you know what we like to say around here. Only the best make it the Ford High School Weekly. And that's why we had Fitch and Braylon Presley on. Some of the best in Oklahoma. Well, until next time, thank you for watching, and I'm your host, Deanna Mate.